Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Alliance Forever. Today I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the north and ending with Team 2 in the south. Starting off with Team 1's easternmost player in Rust, it is Dorset going first line as a Cybran. He is an 1100. To his west in lightest red pink, we have Smithers going first line as a UEF. He is a 1600. The highest ranked player on Team 1 and tied for the highest overall. To his northwest in Pac-Man yellow, it is Ed Morsfoli. I think I call him Ed for short, going first land. He is a Cybran. He is a 1500 with my very, very bad German pronunciation. To his southwest, we have Literal going first land as an Aeon. He is a 1400 in forest green. And in the northwest corner of the map, it is Quiet Joy going first there as a UEF as an 1100 in Snow White. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 2 Cybrans, 2 UEF, and 1 Aeon, which means Team 1 lacks Seraphim technology. Starting off with Team 2 southeastern corner, it is 1-0 Cat, not 0-1 Cat. Going first air as a Cybran, he is in Stitch Blue, and he is a 900. To his northwest in Light Oak Town, it is Scorpio going first land as an Aeon. He is a 1500. And the other 1500 here for Team 2, it is Legend Lord 2 going first land as a Cybran in Ruby Red. In Glow in the Dark Green here to his northwest, we have Raw Legit going first land as an Aeon. He is a 1600, the highest ranked player on Team 2, and the player with which Smithers is tied for the highest ranked player overall. And last but not least for Team 2, it is Deathlock going first land as a UEF. He is in Chevy Crimson as a 1200. Over Team 2 side of the map, they also have 2 Cybrans, but they have 2 Aeon instead of 2 UEF like Team 1 does. They have 2 Aeon, 1 UEF, which means they also lack Seraphim technology, which means for the entirety of the game, there are no Seraphim. Apologies to those that arrive late but like to make grand entrances. Let's go ahead and take a look at the reclaim here on the map before our players scoop it all up. And for 10 players, we have 42,000 reclaim, which means that is 4.2k mass per player to scoop up if everything was divided evenly, which of course it never is. And of course, taking a look at the mass point layouts here. Let's look at Team 1 side of the map this game. We have 4 quad mechs positions here for Team 1. Maybe 5 if I want to count that one as a quad mechs. Twin mechs in the west here, and besides that, a couple other one-off mexes in the north. For the middle of the map, honestly, this middle plateau will be definitely fought over between somebody on Team 1 and Team 2. And I can see a scenario in which Team 2 grabs these ones, Team 1 grabs these ones, and then they're constantly fighting in the middle and trying to outflank one another. But besides that, there's not really going to be a lot of fighting over the mexes due to the fact that the middle of the map is, besides the middle, pretty devoid of mexes. And with that out of the way, let's see what our players are moving along here. We do see Team 1, 5 players. All of them on Team 1 have left their main bases. Team 1's northwestern player of Quiet Joy, a little bit behind all of his other teammates, but he is most likely going to be the rear guard air slot player, so I don't really expect him to go far out into the middle. On Team 2 side of the map, we only see 3 players moving to the middle, with Team 2's Legend Lord 2 not traversing the map to the north, which will give Team 1 a slight advantage in the Comm v Comm action area. We do see in the east a couple of scouts and some light assault bots to the east having a disagreement about what flavor of hot sauce to put on their burgers. I don't know where I'm going with that. I don't know. I feel like hot sauce on burgers definitely depends on what your condiments are. I don't know. I feel like hot sauce on something with like lettuce, tomato, onion is a little too much. I'd prefer hot sauce with like maybe an onion ring or jalapenos or stuff like that to kind of, mix well together. And to the west of the middle, we see Team 1's player of Literal actually walking by Team 2's player of Deathlock. We see this is a little bit of reclaim here and a little bit of reclaim here. So both of these players went for the opposite player's mass to claim, which will, not really affect anything really early game. It'll just be funny when they walk back by one another, probably shoot some pot shots. But between Team 1 and Team 2, we have Ad shooting at Raw Legit focusing on the reclaim. and then going after the comm most likely. And then again, very early on, doing a couple thousand damage isn't really that important. The reclaim is more important, especially with this amount of reclaim on the map. Team 1 and Team 2 want to get all of the early, quote-unquote, free mass on the map as soon as possible so they can upgrade their mechs, upgrade, obviously, their facilities to be able to fight their opponents more effectively. Some units were dropped off by Team 2's 1-0 Cat, but then gets one of them, actually two of them away. Dorset was able to kill a couple of them. But definitely interesting and nice to see that 1-0 Cat was micro them enough to where he can actually grab two of them back and not lose all of those engineers. So he gains something, not a lot, but something's better than nothing. We do see Team 2's Scorpy retreating just a little bit to the south. Smithers going to establish a nice little Team 1 PD to secure that reclaim in the east. And we'll force back Team 2's comm once again. We do see Ed going after the Eruptor that was being built by some engineers. That gets denied. And it's looking like, again, in the middle of the map, a little bit, okay, slow news day in the, especially the western side of the map. Couple of units line up here for Deathlock, but they're going to be shot very quickly here by the units outbound from Literal. Again, Literal still down here, still reclaiming, and just hanging out on the other side of the map. And again, like I said early on, not really a huge threat of being sniped, but the longer he stays, then the more likely, but I could definitely see him retreating. He is going for a T1 PD, able to aid his escape. And we do see Raw Legit being forced back by some Aurora. Aurora then line up to get shot upon. That shot from that comm definitely missed, hit the ground there. Again, accuracy in this game is not 100%. Just because you fire, it does not mean that it will reach its target. One of the interesting elements of FAF that I really do appreciate is that just because you're like, oh, I want to shoot at this, does not mean that you will always hit this or that. But Team 1 PD doing a great job in dealing with Deathlock's commander. Literal being very annoying, trying to body block his opponent and kind of essentially forcing him and keeping him in range of that T1 PD. Literal will be able to drop him into the yellow. I think he'll be fine. Yeah, that T1 PD will be fine. Looks like he's trying to repair it, but that is going to be denied. Some more Aurora come in range here for Literal. It could be a walking down scenario here for Team 1. And the question is, do they want to kill him off this early? Everything that he owns will go to a different player on his team. So that'll just gift a bunch of mass and energy and units and whatnot to most likely Raw Legit, who's right next door. And Literal does get forced back a little bit by some strikers, but that's also partly due to the fact that he does not want to engage / kill that commander of Deathlock right now. In the east, Legendor has come to join his teammate of Scorpion on the eastern side of that middle slot, but unfortunately Team 1's Smithers has established a nice little front line position and will be able to force back both of those comms very effectively. Both of them in the yellow, and Legendor almost in the red, but barely makes it up before he dips into that color scheme. He is red, so it definitely would fit his whole aesthetic, but being red on hit points definitely not what you want to do. Just a word to the wise there. Nano repair has been started here for Deathlock. Very interesting to see a UEF commander go nano first, but he does want to rep up his hit points, so it's very good to go for that first. As well, we do see a couple of units outbound from Little to just distract Team 2, while the main force outbound from Ed pushes southward. We do see that Team 2's Legendor has claimed the upper plateau. We could see some nice T1 Medusa on this edge just shell Team 1's position, but we don't see that yet. There are some over here, but they haven't moved to that eastern side as of yet. T2 Bomber says Literal. Don't know if it got shot down. Oh no, it's over here, outbound from Legendor. So he has T2 Air online. So does his teammate of 1-0 Cat in the southeast. Team 1, do you have T2 Air? Yes, you do. Does somebody else on Team 1 have T2 Air? No. So only one player on Team 1 going for Air. Team 2 has 2 players. It's definitely going to benefit, of course, Team 2. Corsair over top trying to assassinate some T2 Mechs. Is being shot out of the sky by some AA. Team 2's Aurora outranging the units outbound from Dorset on the east. So the engagement definitely goes to Team 2. And will only favor Team 2 as the game progresses, at least in terms of the range with this T1 unit spam. Once they get to T2, it's not really going to matter. Nano Pro almost done. Speed upgrade almost done here for the gun upgrade on board the Raw Legit Aeon Commander. Gun speed and range coming on the line here for Air in the middle. The 3 players in the game going for upgrades as we speak. Nano is done going for the FAF next here for Deathlock. We see Literal kind of shifting his units a little bit westward. There are some PD here, some being 1. But again, something is better than nothing. Looks like maybe some T2 TMD are going to be built. These are only T1 mexes. I don't really see the point in going for them, especially that far forward. I would say that maybe for, you know, TMD over here, TMD maybe over here, but not necessarily right there when they're way up in front and can easily be killed off. We see Team 2's couple of units outbound from Legend Lord get over here. They might have been transported down or something. I don't see much of anything else. I could have transported them. Maybe the transport got away. I don't know. Gun speed coming online here for Scorpy in the east, and his units are getting into the nice forward operating base here for Dorset. Unfortunately, the units from Team 2, Scorpy focusing the units outbound from Team 1 and not the actual mexes, but again, trying to eliminate the military prowess is definitely a good thing to do as well. Just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Gun speed started here for Literal. Go for range next. And of course that upgrade here almost done. Gun speed and range, or slash range I should say, for Wild Legit is completed, or are completed. And it looks like the Medusa are coming into play, but Team 1 Smithers does build a nice little shield. He needs to get his own artillery online, some T1s, maybe some missile launchers as well. T2 being built in the middle here for Legend Lord. He's really trying to just lock down this position. Would give him a nice little exclusion zone in the middle of the map, but we'll see if that actually does occur or not. The middle is almost surrounded by Team 1. I don't think that's going to be there for that much longer range. Coming online here for Scorpy in the east. T3 air. The upgrade has been started. It looks like some gunships are being built by Legend Lord. And we do see T3 air almost done here for Team 1's Quiet Joy. So Team 1 will have T3 air before Team 2. Not by that much, but maybe just enough to go for Bomber first, because you have to remember you go T3, then Engineers, and then PGen, and then Bomber if you do that in that, you know, let's see that 1, 2, 3 punch kind of scenario. But it looks like it's going to be a battle of 4 armies. My brain lost its train of thought there for a second. Deathlock pushing forward again with the Nano and gun comms, so going to be a little bit more tanky to deal with here for Team 1. And Team 1's comm of Little has retreated, going for some T2 Mexes upgrades. That's trying to scale his eco up a little bit more. Team 1 barely on the lead with mass at 385 versus 355, so a little 30 or so, but not that much. We do see some gunships being assailed by some interceptors outbound from Team 1, trying to just force that little bit of air-to-ground weaponry back. We do see a spy plane outbound from Quiet Joy, getting a nice readout what's going on Team 2 side of the map. Love to see that. Are you going to go for early bomber? No, not yet. He is going for PGen. Going to stop production so he can build that T3 PGen. T3 air is still under construction. It's taken a while to go for that upgrade. But he's also doing a bunch of other stuff at the same time, so it isn't really helping his eco management there. Yeah, he's really negative on mass, so he's got to stop some projects. Be able to funnel those other projects as well. Got to stop stuff and then be able to, you know, stop, start. Team 2 PD able to outrange the Medusa outbound from Team 2's Legend Lord, which means this position will slowly fall, especially with the T2 T2 land headquarters. So I guess in the Cybern's case, you can technically have a T2 land base be essentially a naval base if you build those Wagners. You can see the EMP weapons on board. The Medusa definitely delay a couple of the shots outbound from Team 1, but it's not going to delay them for that long. T2 PD back here just to try to secure some of the position, but it looks like it's going to be able to shoot both of these PD quite nicely here. The radar is online, so that will give Team 2 the advantage. The shot's now outbound here, going after the engineer who's building the shield to prevent the protection of said T2 PD, and that will definitely favor Team 1, especially due to the fact that most of the engineers are down for Team 2 and the shield is online. Pushing to the north here, outbound from Team 2 with both the comm of Deathlock and the units for Raw Legit with his gun comm over here to the west of the middle or the east, depending on what your frame of reference is. Legend Lord has his range upgrade, and he's dealing with some incursions from the west outbound from Legend Lord, so not Legend Lord, sorry, from Deathlock. That is the other red player on Team 2. T3 air is being built here by Legend Lord as well. and will finish before 1-0 cat. So Team 2 will have T3 air here shortly. Did he go for bomber? I don't think so. Has some ASFs already in storage ready to go. Could have easily gone for bomber, but decides to go for ASFs instead, which again isn't a bad play. It's very the typical play, but being a little bit more aggressive definitely assists, especially in a scenario where Team 1 is being forced back on the west and the middle. The east is kind of just there, as there are some pot shots being fired between Scorpy and Dorset. Dorset very significantly damaged. That is not, he's probably not feeling good at this game. In the eastern side, going to go for nano, so it's going to wrap up some hit points very, very quickly. He's going for stealth earlier. It's very much a back and forth in the middle of the map, and the west is just kind of starting to be decimated. Both players on the west, the same idea, and just walling it off and just saying, "Ah, it's fine, don't worry about it." There are some Medusa up here, not Medusa. There are some Lobos up here, kind of just hanging out, and looks like everything's kind of been back to homeostasis for the time being. Team 2 has gained a little bit of an advantage. The gunship threat outbound from Legendary. Are they going to go after the commander? No. Looks like they're going to go after some more mexes, but there are some ASF nearby, so could easily be pinged. Looks like the ASF are called to deal with those Renegade T2 gunships. And there they go. Shot out of the sky. T3 brick online for Ed, and his comm on the front line as well. So he skipped the loyalist phase, went straight for brick production, which is, I mean, arguably, you want to have loyalists for TMDs, but well, tactical missile reflection, but not deflect, but reflection. Yeah, reflection. Because deflection could just be you put it somewhere else, but reflection would be you bring it back to its source. So definitely nice to have, but I don't see a lot of TMLs in both the mobile or stationary variety for Team 2, so not really a huge worry to go for the Loyalists or any TMD. There are some built, but just out of habit, but mostly it's just not really a lot of emphasis on that. Looks like it's more emphasis on eco for both teams. Team 2 a little bit in the lead now. Team 1 was in the lead, and looks like it's, again, just back and forth depending on power generation and stalling and all that stuff. We do see some Titans outbound from Smithers, so he didn't skip Titans and go straight for Percy's. He's going for Titans, which will definitely aid in the west with all of these blazes online. There are some Obsidians in here, so it's going to take a little bit longer to chew through those hit points. But with the bricks plus the comm's going to get bedded up very, very quickly, and Raw Legit is a, quote, feeding as efficiency for the time being. And that is a TMD. I don't see any TMLs online here at all yet. Advanced range has been started here for Scorpy, so trying to, again, outrange his opponent in the east. That will favor Team 2. But Scorpy does, not Scorpy, but Dorset does have Nano. So it's going to take a little bit more to shoot through those hit points because they're going to wrap up a lot quicker. There are no Seraphim comms, which means no chickens, no Ilshis, no Othams, no Awasa bombers, no YOLOs, no nothing of Seraphim. Definitely a miss in the Seraphim tech. I'm definitely a fan of those Awasa bombers and the YOLOs because having a super nuke is always fun to watch. But we do see some T3 missiles outbound here from the Western player of Deathlock. So he has gone and skipped the T2 missiles and gone straight for T3. They will be forced back by some fire-basing PD outbound from Literal. And, of course, still Ed and Little kind of jostling for position. Luckily for Team 1 and Team 2 partly, there are, again, no mexes to fight over in the west or the east. It's just straight combat and just tactical advantage in terms of having map control, which there isn't really any when you have a flat area of land and there's no hills, no valleys, no mountains, no nothing. It's just flat. There's no benefit unless there were mexes. There are some on the edges, but you have to cross no man's land to get to them, which is the hard part, which is why both players are kind of sitting. Very interesting scenario. We do see Scorpy going for PD creep with some pseudo fire-based creep. But Scorpy does have shield on board against a Dorset commander of Cyber and Gun and Nano. Scorpy focusing on the units. Now he's going to focus on the comm. We could see the first evacuation here for Team 1's Dorset, just due to the fact he has 8,000 hit points of shield to chew through, plus 15,000 hit points on board the comm, versus Dorset having 16,000 hit points, but does have 90 a second regen for his whole integrity. So again, it's kind of staying roughly in the middle, but we do see Team Jewish Air Player of 1-0 Cat coming with some Corsairs, really just nipping at the heels of Dorset. Drops his hit points almost into the red. Will give some encouragement for Team 2 Scorpion to maybe chase after him. ASFs, or actually, yeah, ASFs and Interceptors coming to assist. Dorset trying to dodge, trying to stay out of range. Overcharging into Dorset's command, or Scorpion's commander. He is Dorset. He's dropped below 2,000 hit points. I think he's going to be walked down at this point. Those Corsairs definitely came in at a right opportune time. Overcharge gets blocked by some Rhinos. Rhinos charge back in to shield their commander. PD in range as well. Looks like they will be forced back. Team 1's Dorset will survive to see another day and will now get under shield coverage due to the ASF assisting them in the east. If this ASF did not come when they did, I think Team 2 would have scored the first kill, and we could see a game where no one dies before 20 minutes. They have a minute and a couple of seconds left to stay alive. TML over here, outbound from Legendor on this upper plateau, wreaking havoc, I would assume, on Team 1's Eco, which honestly, not as much as I thought they would be. It must have just been spotted. It's building. It hasn't even killed anything yet, so it was just built. Really a huge issue there, but we do have some TMLs, mobile ones at least, from the Spearheads launching multiple missiles on Literal's position. Does have some volcanoes to be able to deter some of those missiles, but can't block all of them. You need more of them to deal with that. Team 2 will just chip away at Team 1's defenses over there. And in the east, Dorset now under shield coverage, back up in the yellow at 7,000 hit points. Scorpy trying to be targeted underneath those asylums, but they are staying online pretty quickly. Again, 3,500. They're doing pretty good. The T2 Surfer able to hit at least one of the engineers. Essentially, that is the maximum range, right where the PD essentially looks like radar. Actually, no, they are in range. Excuse me. Just barely, though. Look at that. PD just barely in range. And that PD just gets sniped by Scorpy. So no, it wasn't in range anymore because it's dead. But Team 1 has some gunships online, some Stingers. Not my preferred gunship from the UEF, but again, when you just need something cheap and easy, like McDonald's. Well, I guess maybe not nowadays, but it used to be cheap, easy. Go for McDonald's, grab a burger and fries and a drink, and just throw it together and call it a day. A lot of unit build up here in the west for Team 2. Not really the same thing in the east. Legendor focusing a little bit more on Eco, it looks like. He's sitting at, actually no, not so much. He's sitting at 139. Two of his teammates are sitting above 200. Team 1 has skyrocketed ahead in the Eco game. Let's talk about the game overall. They're sitting at 930. Team 2 at 830. So Team 1, 100 hit points, 100 mass more than Team 2 per second. Team 2, 5 players left. Team 2, 5 players left as well. That'd be definitely just a random occurrence if 4 players control Cade randomly. There's only 1 player left. And map control, I'd say it's definitely 50-50. I can't really say one way or the other. Definitely in the middle. It's very fluid. I'll just do a flat 50%. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. If you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate all the time and attention you have been giving to my videos. And again, thank you so very much for watching to this point. And again, I encourage you to continue to watch to the end of the video. Little coming with his Aeon Sniper Commander with the what's it called? He just built it. No, he just built the advanced range. What's it called? The Chrono Dampener. That's what it is. The Pulse, essentially. And so PD are in range, be able to target that commander, but we do see the EMP Pulse doing a very good job in forcing back some of those units from Deathlock. Team 1 Smithers employing the same strategy as Team 2's Deathlock, deploying those spearheads, but he's having some issues with some Harbingers to the east. Maybe we'll see them reclaim, but they're just going after T2 Mechs for the time being. So we see Scorpy changing tactics, going west, avoiding Dorset Firebase and trying to assassinate Team 1's mass, which has done a great job so far, taking out 4 Mechs. That is, it was at 36 mass. Yeah. Oh, it's upgrading. That's not helpful. Be this one. No, that one's also upgrading. I just want a T2 Mechs that's not upgrading. 9, yeah, so it's 36. Sometimes I forget. I think it's 6 without mass storages. But T3 trebuchets as well online for Team 1, shelling the rest of that position for Legendary. He has lost the middle plateau, which, to be fair, is only 2 mexes, so it's not that much. But those 2 mexes could make or break the game. You never know. Just that little bit of more mass income. Scorpy pumping out T3 units on the front line, so he cuts down on the travel time of his units and using his backline facilities to just spam up fervors. He's just going to just use a lot of some cannon fodder while he deploys more technologically advanced units. Harbinger versus Titan definitely favors the number here. The Harbinger does score a kill right before it dies, and those 4 Harbingers now have gone all the way around, targeting Dorset. So his main goal was Dorset after all, wants to avoid his main production base. We have some loyalists online for Dorset coming in to intercept. T3 Mechs is being upgraded too from T2. Again, lots of T's and lots of numbers in this game. T2 Engineering Suite, T2 Mechs, T2 this, T3 this, Team 1, Team 2, T2. Just a bunch of T's and numbers essentially in this game. Kind of, it trips up my tongue once in a while, like one of those tongue twisters. But Scorpion getting a nice fire base creep going on here, getting these miasma. Very, very annoying. T2 artillery. They have that little acid or pool, whatever they leave behind. Reminds me of the emissary T3 artillery. It's essentially the same kind of mechanic, but instead of it just kind of like an acid pool, it's more of a pulse that happens. And in the west, not really a whole lot in the middle here between both teams. More just kind of shooting at one another from long range. More missiles and more Titans and Percys now appearing here for Deathlock in the west. I think I'm going to speed it up just to 1 because it's kind of getting a little bit slow. Not a lot of action going on. 24 minutes on the clock. Team 2, you producing any experimentals I don't know about? No. No. Yes. It is almost done. So I think that'll be the first experimental of the game here for Raw Legit. To his north for Team 1. No. We are seeing a Monkey Lord almost done here for air, and then going to go for a crab. There's that Colossus has been constructed. And Dorset is being forced back by the miasma creep and artillery base, or miasma artillery creep and base. I think I said that right. He needs to really deal with this launch of fervors coming in to deal with all of the remaining structures and units that are just going to sit there and receive artillery fire. Dorset's not going to feel good after this. Loyalists have to move and get out of just their main idle stance. PD in the back being able to fire at all of these small, weaker units. Definitely a good use of the tickle cannons. Doesn't take a lot to tickle a fervor that only has 150 hit points. And he's also being attacked from the western side of things by Legend Lord. So as he's being attacked on 2 fronts, we do see some units from Smithers coming in to assist. And that PD doing a very good job on holding off some of those units, but not all of them. Just divert 1 loyalist or something, and that would be enough. Looks like, again, the bouncers can also target ground units. Not that they have the best accuracy, but it is something better than nothing. Missiles still going after this base here for Literal. It's definitely a back and forth there, going after that, TMD base with more and more missiles. And he's more focused on the western approach with most of those Percys and units over there. It looks like the Loyalists are moving in to take out that fire base. They're kind of sick and tired of receiving artillery fire to the face. All the shields are down for Dorset. He's going to send his commander in as well. Team 2, Scorpy, has retreated all the way back to his main base. Essentially, he sent one last hurrah for this base and said, nah, man, see ya, bye. And now Titan's coming in to assist, going after some units and structures for 1-0 Cat. Looks like it was just one over of an engineer base for reclaim. And now some Titans getting into the supply lines here for Team 2, Scorpy. And Dorset still receiving a lot of firepower from some PD and fervor fire, but he's continuously moving, which means that artillery won't hit him as good as it can. But Corsairs coming over the top here, 1-0 Cat. This could be a snipe on the cards. Dorset, 500 hit points. One more volley could be enough. And there he goes. He is killed off by Team 2's... Actually, no, that was a Control K. And Smithers is defeated at the exact same time by the Colossus outbound here from Raw Legit. So Team 1 loses 2 players simultaneously. It looked like it was a Control K trying to kill off those Corsairs, it looks like, because I saw essentially a kind of brown, a rust color message very quickly. And in the west, that literal base here has collapsed. And Team 1 forcing their way forward with that monkey. It looks like Team 1 wants some revenge. Raw Legit's going to push his way forward, trying to overcharge the monkey. Takes out almost half of its hit points. Laser focusing the Calm. The Calm might kill the monkey here with the last overcharge that he needs. Overcharge kills off the monkey, or at least gets it on its way. Team 2's Raw Legit will be fine for the time being. All these units going to press on forward. Probably should have actually kept moving. And Team 1 will be forced to retreat, at least on that western side. But Percy's coming in to assist. That's going to crack this eastern line here for Legend Lore, and Team 2 is going to have to deal with that shortly. They also have a Colossus in the east here for Scorpion, but now Air is dealing with both an attack in the east and the middle here, but has to micro all of that. Team 1 has a lot of air. Looks like it's under control of Literal, and Quiet Joe has just, maybe he had to go, maybe he had to go do something, but he has gifted everything over to his teammate except for an SMD, which is almost loaded. And we do see those Percies kind of just standing there. They need to move. They're being, pinged to move. Team 2 still being forced back by Team 1's units, but bricks are being overwhelmed by that Colossus. Percies are given orders to move, but they've already lost 2 of their brethren unnecessarily. More PD coming online in range here for Team 2's Legend Lord, trying to force back the Percies. Are the Tickle Cannons going to win? I think they might. There's just so many of them. It's not going to feel good here for those Percies tonight. They have to go home, lick their wounds, and maybe go see a chiropractor, because their back is probably, or their neck is probably just torn apart. See in the east, the Colossus pushing forward against Dorset's old base. There's only some bricks online. This entire eastern side might just go up in flames due to the fact there's nothing over here. I'm going to slow it back down back to 0. That we can make sure we can cover all of the action. Team 2's Deathlock forcing Literal on the western side back. Once again, this base entirely destroyed. Team 1 doesn't have anything except for a Colossus to their name. And maybe we'll see a Game Ender or artillery or something here pretty... Oh, well, okay, well, there it is. Ed does have 1,000 mass by himself. Team 2, the highest mass producing player, is... it's Deathlock, and then Scorpy and Raw Legit are right behind him. So overall, Team 2 is producing more mass than Team 1, but because Team 1 has one player that has 1,000 mass, they're able to focus, build a lot of stuff. Monkey is built as well. Second Monkey about to finish. Well, when I say about to finish, it is about to finish, even though it's half done. The Monkey going to use the land, very interestingly, not necessarily to his advantage. Some discrepancies about height advantage and whatnot. Even if it was flipped, the Monkey would still be able to shoot the Colossus, just due to the fact that the Monkey would be just tall enough. It looks like the Colossus might... No, it does not kill the Monkey. Team 1 has another Monkey online. That's 2. And it'll get 2 more and a Crab. So Team 1's going to have 5 experimentals here pretty shortly to protect. And I think Team 1's ad is just going to use it as just a defensive wall, not really move with it. Crab is online in the middle, going after some Harbingers, trying to sneak on by him. Is at 1-star veterancy. He'll be able to wrap up a little bit more hit points per second. Omni would be a good target to take out here for Team 1 on Team 2. Team 2 probably should focus right here against Smithers' old base. Not really a whole lot defending it. The shield is down. There are some Ravagers they'll have to deal with. Well, shields are being built. But it would be a nice way to avoid the line of PD to the west. And be able to just shoot on through to Smithers' old base over there. It looks like Team 1's ad is just going to force back Team 2 on this eastern side. Now what's going to come into play, as I mentioned, is having one player on your team having a ton of mass income means they can really just blitz stuff down. How's that Disruptor going? Well, it's now under construction. Would like to see shields around that thing. Kill this with air, says Raw Legit. There's no AA here, so that will work. There are some whalers running around and air gathering over here in the east for some reason. There are some bouncers nearby. Actually, no, that's just missiles from the Monkey Lord, excuse me. The missiles on board aren't great. It's something at least. It's good for T1 and T2 gunships, but not really much of anything else. Given, of course, enough time, 1,000 of anything will kill anything. An ASF over the top here for Legend Lord protecting the whalers, but I don't think... I mean, they're not going to go over here very surprisingly. There isn't a lot of AA online. Team 1 focusing more on Ravagers and PD rather than AA, which is probably what they should be focusing on. And Literal keeping his ASF in reserve. He looks like he knows he's outnumbered. 76 here for him. 30 plus an additional, that's the wrong player, 39. So it's a little bit in favor of Team 2, but ever so slightly. Mikey Lloyd's being assailed by the Whaler. Whaler will kill off the first one. 2 more are over here. Team 2 does have a Colossus coming in to assist. And, of course, that nice little suits there will get a ton of intel and vision here on the eastern side of the map. Because it's not a 20 by 20, that chunk of vision that they can see is huge. I mean, any more vision you can get is big, but still getting that amount of vision percentage-wise of the map is definitely big. 2 Colossus over here to the west being assailed by one of the FAF boys. We do see the crab was killed off here by Team 2, but there's those tickle cannons in range of the Perseus. Perseus need to move, killing off all the engineers, scooping the reclaim. And there are 2 Colossus now charging that western flank. There is now another crab underneath shield coverage that will force the Perseus back. And it looks like the Colossus will just continue to stomp on through. 3 monkeys online for Team 1 and a crab. Look at this. 4 experimentals on that side of the map. As I said, there would be 5, but one of them died. So sad for that monkey. That artillery in the yellow. About halfway done with that. Team 2 going for anything else? No, nothing of the sort. No nuke launcher, no artillery, no satellites from the UEF players. We do see more Colossus production, but that's it. Looks like it's going to be 2v2 with a FAF boy. That's going to favor Team 2, especially due to the fact that one of those Colossi are already in the yellow. And again, those Perseus definitely assist with taking out all those hit points very quickly. Colossus is going to gain some veterancy, but not very quickly. The Colossus actually focusing on the FAF boy, and this is going to yield huge results here for Team 2 as a 3rd Colossus comes in the range. And with that 3-1 advantage now, that Colossus for Team 1 is EED. The crab going to try to move into range, but that's not really going to matter at this point. Artillery base now online. 2nd crab being built here. Not built, finished. Is being sent to the front line here for air. And that is going to tick into the yellow here pretty shortly. Another Colossus coming online here for Literal in the west. He's pumping out ASF as we speak. I do love this approach, though, going for more of an, essentially not the most efficient in terms of PGens, but because they're shielded, they're a lot more protected. Bad says Literal. Yeah, it's not great, but there are going to be crabs. You could see an area. Well, it looks like the crab is going to actually move around and try to intercept those Colossus. And the crab is actually going to cut off any escape for those Colossus unless they go west. So Team 1 thinking about how to essentially corner those 3 Colossi and get the reclaim. But the further Team 2 send the Colossus in, the closer Team 1 will be able to grab their reclaim a lot easier. And so that is the downside with moving your experimentals in and not taking the territory, is the other team can easily grab them. Crab does get picked up here by Team 2, but unfortunately here the Colossus might have the advantage if the crab does not target it. Okay, well, never mind. Just scratch what I said. Gunships over top protecting those Colossus, but taking out 3 of those monkeys for Team 1. 1 crab remains. There are some Harbingers in the mix, but there's not a lot of AA as well. Team 2 has that advantage of Team 1 not having a lot of AA under their protection, or at least being used to protect them. Whalers over the top as well for Legend Lord, trying to take out that Megalith. There's also some Harbingers as well. So it's just a bad news bears all around here. More AA being built by Team 1's air, and more crabs being built. Air help this is game win, says Raw Legit. But of course that 2nd crab has caught up to them. The 1st crab does die to that Colossus, so that's definitely going to hurt Team 1. Their eco. 1st Colossus is down. Lots of gunships are online. There are some Harbingers getting in, but that's not really going to matter. And the first major air fight of the game does occur, and there are 3 players on Team 2 that have air. It is Deathlock, 10 Cat, and Raw Legit. Actually, not Raw Legit, sorry, Legend Lord. The other red player on Team 2. But the ASF, the first grouping has been eliminated. And it definitely does give Team 1 a slight advantage in the air. Literal being walked down, but does get out of range due to the fact that the Colossus for Team 2 was destroyed. 2nd Colossus, or 3rd one actually, trying to get in range, not going to matter. Just enough to protect that commander. If Literal had died there, that would have mean that essentially Air is the last remaining player on Team 1. due to the fact that Quiet's in the corner just because he probably had to go somewhere. Didn't want to, have to control K or anything. Just wanted to stay in the game, but probably had to, I don't know, go answer the door. He's been gone for a while, so maybe something happened. Don't really know what it could be, though. Scout hard for artillery targets until then kill the air grids. The artillery is almost done, speaking of which, and T1 PD being established to protect said artillery. Team 2 going to be happy with the reclaim they're getting, and the Harbingers scooping it all up with their engineering suites on board. Able to be very handy in that regard. I do harp on the Harbinger a little bit just because it's not as effective in combat versus Percy's, Bricks, and Othams. But the utility for the Harbinger is definitely where it shines. So on a 1v1 fight, the Percy's going to win. On a 1v1 fight, the Brick is going to win. 1v1 fight, the Otham is going to win. But the Harbinger does move a lot quicker as well, so it can try to get some run-by opportunities. And as well as, of course, it has a little bit of a personal shield, so some hit points regen as its whole hit points are being shot at. And it has an engineering suite, so there are advantages and disadvantages to everything in this game. And the Harbinger is cheaper than all the other ones. So there is that as well. And like I said, I do harp on it a little bit, but it is effective. But it's mainly, again, used utilitarianly, meaning like it's useful for reclaim, going for maybe some run-bys or, that kind of thing, versus everyone lines up, old war style, Revolutionary War, Civil War, at least if you're from the U.S., or even like Napoleonic Wars. They all line up, they all fire, that kind of thing. And I think no, the Napoleon Wars definitely had some of that. I don't think all of it was that. I'm thinking of the scene from the trailer I watched of that Napoleon movie, of him using the ice to destroy his enemies, where they walk on the ice, he shoots it with the cannons and it all cracks and they all sink into the water and die. So that's more guerrilla warfare rather than just everybody line up. But anyway. That crab does able to take out one of the 3 Colossus. The second one will be fine. Gets another rank in veterancy. 71,000 mass on that Colossus. Very, very big 5-star unit there. And we do see the Whalers going after the engineers, building the Megalith to prevent any reinforcements from being called forth. Nuke outbound from Team 2's Legend Lore. And where is it going? It's going for Team 1's... It's going further northeast, going for this air grid over here. That is going to go up in smoke. There's no SMD coverage there. That is going to die, unfortunately, here for Team 1. SMD protecting the artillery. Artillery has been constructed. Going to go after the air grid, I would assume. Could go after the nuke as well. But again, focusing on other things. Gunships not over here, very surprisingly, for Team 1. Oh, they're waiting for the ASF to be cleared. That's what it is. The Megalith has been denied, and the nuke does land. Kaboom! Taking out a ton of mass with that. I'd say about 50,000 mass killed with that nuke. Further back south, there it is. 73. Well, not that far off. ASF's again protecting the gunships as well. And the skies have been cleared. Team 1's gunships are in range, starting to kill off everything. Kill AA, says Literal. Yep, that is the main thing. First, kill off the stuff that can shoot you and kill everything else. Then Team 1 builds an experimental, probably another Colossus. 2 crabs over here protecting that western approach. Air grid being nice and fanned out here for Literal. Second artillery almost in the yellow. Looks like they're focusing on some more PGen related problems. Gunships going after all of that AA. There are some ascendants in there as well, so the flak cannon's very good at dealing with gunships, especially because they kind of just hover there. But now Colossus are dead and gone over here. There is a Team 1 air facility. If it stays online, engineers can be built to scoop up the reclaim. But the Mechs is on the main target here for Team 2. Team 2, 2.1k, 2.2k. Team 1 at 1.3. Team 2 leading the mass game by a large margin, and now it's starting to show with all of their units, all of their infrastructure coming online. Artillery now started here for Deathlock in the west. And more mass fabs. Of course, we have the nuke over here. It's about half loaded to another one. 1-0 Cat has lost some of his air grid, not all of it, but definitely a decent portion of it. Colossus turns around and flees. The last of the remaining Colossus have been dealt with, and those Harbingers are continuing to move northward to kill everything off. Team 1 land facility in the edge of the map, trying to stay online. And I think it might just do that. We will see. ASF's trying to go after those gunships, but just cannot seem to get a break. And artillery is landing against 1-0 Cat's air grid, going after the T3 air headquarters. There is a nuke that's half built, so that's also something here for Team 2. And again, Team 2 doing a very good job enforcing the middle back here for Team 1. 4 Colossi online, Monkey, Fat Boy, and Colossus. Of course, we won't see everything else. So 5 Colossus online here for Team 2. They're going to pressure Team 1's defenses for that artillery piece if they know where it is. And they do, so they're going straight for it. And that is not going to feel good on Team 1's doorstep. There are some bricks rotating northward to protect said investment. The entire eastern edge has almost been dealt with by Team 2. That's a lot of mass. Team 1 is losing. They're at 600 mass, or Ada specifically is at 600 mass versus the 1,000 plus he was sitting at earlier. 5 Colossi is a lot, though. And if Team 1 survives and can get all the mass, that might be game for Team 2, just due to the fact that that's a lot of mass to scoop up and funnel into other projects. Artillery has been slowed down for the most part. Another crab is online. So it's 2 crabs versus 5 Colossus, a Fat Boy, and a Monkey over here. Looks like some gunships being very, very annoying here for Team 2. Looks like the ASF still chasing all the ASFs here for Team 2. And looks like, oh, they had such a huge engagement, but now Team 2 has the advantage of getting in from behind. They're going to turn back around. It's more of a distraction opportunity, allowing for those gunships to take out more of the mexes. First, Colossus is going to go down. Oh, gotta get a nice little picture there. And there it is. The second. Oh, no, that's 0 speed. It just, for some reason, when I go like this, it looks like it's moving a lot quicker than it actually is. ASF over the top. Protect anything and everything. Colossus trying to get to that artillery piece. Crabs are staying stalwart. SMD is right there. Could be targeted, but doesn't go down. Team 2 has now dumped 4 Colossus worth of mass on Team 1's doorstep. Fat Boy nearby producing a bunch of Cougars to protect against any sort of gunship invasion. But now with 3 crabs online, the ASF still being ripped to shreds by Team 2's AA. Where are those gunships? Strap bombers stacking up here in the northwest, probably going to go after that Fat Boy. That is the main threat at this point. T2 artillery could be built to counter them. Strap bombers being used against the Monkey in the east. The Monkey could go west and go after said artillery, but that is not the case so far. Team 2 now starting to engulf Team 1's landmass in their own units and infrastructure. I think are there 2 artillery online for Team 1 now? Oh, the Monkey Lord has been given orders to go after that that artillery base. Crab turns around, fires. Strap bombers over the top. Will it be enough? Pigeons go down. Shields go down. Pigeon goes down. The second artillery that was being built is destroyed, but the main one is online and alive. And 3 air players, says we're all legit. 3 air players. Jeez. There's not. What? There's 1. Well, I guess there's 1.5 or a little bit. But you have 3 air players. What are you talking about? You have Deathlock, you have Legend Lore, and 1-0 Cat. All that had ASF, and Team 1 still came out on top. 5 Factory, says we're all legit. He has 13. I mean, that's a decent amount. And looks like T3 artillery landing against the air grid here for Team 1. That bound from that Duke over here. And another nuke online here for Team 2. So 1 nuke, 2 nukes, 3 nukes, 4 nukes. Team 2 has 4 nuke silos. This one is almost loaded. Looks like it's going to launch immediately after it finishes. Let me speed it up a little bit so I can watch it finish a little quicker. There it goes. You're going to launch immediately. Yep, there it is. What is it going after? It's going after the northeastern side, going after some mexes.
Strategic launch detected.
Not really going to do a whole lot of damage, but does open the door for Team 2 to move in with that Colossus. There's not really any defenses, though, so it's not really a huge worry. Artillery has taken out the shields around that 1 artillery for Team 1. Oh, it's not going to go good here. The hives are going down. Shields need to pop online. There's no shield online. It's still perfectly fine for now. More of those not Team V, but the PD are coming down. Anti down. What? No, it's not. It's right there. What now? I don't know what he's talking about, but that anti-nuke is not down. There's the second nuke of the game landing. Right on top of that TMD. Kaboom! That zapper just got zapped from the existence of this planet, system, whatever you want to call it. Team 1 doesn't really have... They had a lot of steam. They had a lot of momentum going for them once, you know, as those two players were eliminated and Team 1's air took over. But I don't think it's going to go well now. Team 2, again, dumped a bunch of mass on Team 1's doorstep. What has that done? Not really a whole lot. A lot of mass in Air's coffers. He's not spending it, though. That Colossus is going to... Where did that go? It was over there. Did it just retreat? Oh, no, it's just sitting under there. I just couldn't see it because it was underneath all of those ascendants. And the shield's coming back online here for that artillery. Takes out a ton more hives, but now the SMD is down. Team 2 is open to launch a nuke. GG says, yeah, it's not great here for them. Why you put a T3 artillery in front line? Because why not? Air actually just control K, saying, that's it, game over, I'm done. Well, it's where all my NGs were. And Team 1 just says, see ya, bye. And it leaves Quiet Joy remaining. Well, instead of your base, looks like artillery now landing. Is that a... It is a salvation built by Scorpy, targeting the Calm of Joy in that little heart-shaped wall sections. Now it's just the beginning of the end here for Team 1. Oh, that was a direct impact. Whalers come in and just say, nah, I'm done with it. See you, bye. And that is it. Team 2 wins the game at 46 minutes, 44 seconds. I mean, Team 1 had it for a while there with their artillery piece, but Team 2 was just able to out-eco very, very quickly. And it didn't really matter. It just goes to the fact that Team 2 had more APM to really play with. I feel like MVPs... I mean, Team 1 did get a lot of mass from Team 2, the reclaim-wise. Team 2... Actually, no, Team 2 actually scooped up more than Team 1, even though they donated, quote-unquote, more. Very surprisingly. All the players except for one on Team 2, over 100,000 mass reclaimed. I feel like... I really don't know who to give it to. Everybody did pretty well in terms of... Oh, like there wasn't one outstanding play or one or two great moves. It was essentially just everyone did a good job and it just slowly moved northward, and that was game. Well, let me know down in the comments who you think I should pick on MVP or MVPs. And if you haven't done so already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see all of you in the next one.